The road.
Here we are. Welcome to week 5, episode 5, season 4 of the Fantasy Trail. I'm Matt, along with
Mike Scarano. No, the no longer defeated Mike Scarano.
Oh, wow, buddy. JT here. Very impressed.
Yeah, JT. I saw the rankings. You were kind of feeling yourself this week a little bit.
I think I put myself at 6.
Yeah.
Is that feeling myself?
Yeah. Well, you kind of started that third tier, and I think there were 3 solid teams in that third tier, and you put yourself clearly at the top.
Yeah. Well, if feeling myself means putting myself at 6 when that's my actual ranking in the standings, I guess I'm guilty.
It was a big week for you, JT.
A lucky week. We'll get there though.
So no, this was an absolute bonkers week.
Yes.
I want to use like that's exactly what it was, and it doesn't happen. I don't think I've ever recalled seeing a fantasy week like this.
I don't remember seeing so many. I mean, I said 50 in the chat, and I was a little off that, but 40-point weeks where we had so many just massive explosions.
And with that craziness, are you also referring to Mayfield's -2?
Well,
absolutely.
For the outcome that it had with me, Monday night was an incredible ending for a couple games.
Yeah, look, I completely got you. As much as I think that a -2 is surprising, I'm not surprised that like a team like Cleveland flies across the country and does poorly.
No, but poorly is not what you expect to be giving you a -2. Poorly is like a 6 or a 7 or something.
I agree. I mean, I would say maybe even more as a whole as like Cleveland, for them to actually, with all this going on during the year before the season started, and then to say like, oh, well, now you're going on the road to California. Let's see how it goes. I'd expect them to do poorly. I mean, I just don't expect much from them.
Yeah, but just weird matchups and a lot of weird stuff. It was a very unusual week, and I don't know. I look forward to talking about it. Why don't we kick it off tomorrow?
All right, so let's start out. Who had the high score of the week?
Michael.
That was Colin.
Oh, Colin, excuse me, against Michael.
Yes. So Colin beats Michael 182.7 to 138, and Michael was led by the Philadelphia Eagles defense with 31 points, 10 sacks,
pretty funny,
2 scores, giving him almost a 24, and Eckler continuing his run with 22.
Yeah, which is impressive considering that Gordon was back at least for part of the game.
And that was Michael losing. And here you have Colin, led by Deshaun Watson with 47 points.
Ugh.
Chris Godwin continuing his tear of 1.5 points, and Adam Edelman putting up 25 points.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I think you have to say about Houston and Watson is there was some shade thrown on them about the Laramie Tunsil trade. And I just can't say enough that, I don't think that offensive linemen get enough credit. But Watson hasn't been harassed like he's been in past years. Having that good left tackle sure does matter.
Well, but part of that, I think, is Watson on doing that to himself, though. He just holds on to the ball forever.
Yeah, I mean, it really does. It's worth the trade. The minute Luck was gone, I think it was worth it. Well, they're going to win the division.
Yeah, I mean, Watson more than doubled his projected. Atlanta's defense has been very, very bad, giving up a lot of points to everybody, and they were just throwing all game. 53 points is a massive total for any team, and I mean, 47 points for Watson. Holy moly!
Yeah,
that's tough to beat. And Michael's been so solid, but almost across the board, everybody let him down. You took away those 3 guys that you mentioned, and I think everybody else almost didn't hit their projection.
Yeah, the Olsen giving up a 0 kind of hurt.
Sanders not showing up. Julio barely did anything.
Well, and that's one of my things with Julio. Although when you always look at him, he always seems to be ranked, within the top 10, and he's certainly usually drafted within the top 10. but there's a level of inconsistency there. And I don't necessarily blame Julio. It could be Matt Ryan, but he's on one of my do not draft lists.
Yeah, I mean, he's still the 7th-ranked receiver because he's had a few really great games, but like you said, he's had a few stinkers.
And like there's no dependability.
Yeah. I mean, Michael didn't make any bad choices. You look at his squad, he could have put a few guys in here and there, but there's nobody you would have really looked at and said he made a mistake. So that's just a tough loss. That's what happens when you run into a massive score. And we had a few other teams where that happened, including you, Jamal.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Let's go to Rachel winning against Brian, 162 to 142. So the consensus 2 top teams in the league both lost.
Yeah, and Brian lost in a very unusual way. I mean, he was up somewhat comfortably with having Jarvis Landry left, and Rachel had Tevin Coleman, Breda, and Kittle, and you thought, okay, she's got a chance. But I mean, Breda's first carry was like an 80-yard touchdown run, and she was right there, like suddenly tied.
Yeah.
I mean, she pulled out what? 49, 59.
And also, he was
66
winning.
points on Monday night? After 0 from Sammy Watkins on Sunday night? What
Yeah,
weird.
Also,
go on.
Some of the points here, as particularly from Dak, tended to be just some garbage points. Dak was a lot worse than a 25.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I don't know. It was a you don't expect 2 running backs from the same team to each have a really good game like that. We didn't know what was going on with Breda having been out hurt. That 28 was huge. He was predicted for 9. I mean, his best week before that had been a 14. So she's got to be loving that, especially taking down Brian.
Scriano. I have 2 words for you, says Scriano. Go Patriots.
Who's saying that? Well, I took him tonight. I didn't have a whole ton of options, to be honest with you.
Scriano told me
Go.
to say that. I mean, no, not Scriano.
Go to bed.
Go to bed. We're talking to Scarano, by the way.
See that?
See, my whole thing is, though, Rachel has nothing on her bench, and none of it had to do with buys.
Oh, yes, but Devontae Adams and Singletary are 2 starters that would have played if it wasn't for injury.
Well, but
Okay, but to say she's nothing on her bench.
Players on your bench for so long.
She has her first pick, her second pick, and her 5th pick on the bench.
Oh no, I'm not saying but I'm just saying going forward, this is something that's got to be concerning.
Oh, I disagree. I think she'll be fine.
I agree. I mean, dude, listen, her team has tough injuries, man. Your first-round draft pick's on the bench.
Yeah, and Gordon's going to come back. She's waiting for him to basically come off IR. She gets Allen and Singletary back after this week's bye. Devontae probably looks like he needs another week, but that's 4 starters that she has on her bench. I think just the opposite there of kind of what you're saying.
Okay.
Brian, on the other hand, has to be, and he was in the chat, he's kicking himself about not playing Josh Jacobs. It turns out not to be enough where he could make a switch where that would have cost him like the win, but he's got to get him in every week, right?
Oh yeah, he was injured. It's going to London. You never know. I don't necessarily think it was a terrible call.
Yeah. He's also got 3 quarterbacks, and I think this is interesting.
It's against the Bears defense, arguably one of the best defenses there are.
Yeah, but I don't know. You play a starting running back, I think. I think he's got an interesting.
Oh, look, I think Jacobs, I have him in another league. He's an every week play for me.
Yeah, he's got an interesting situation coming up this week because if you're looking at his bench, he's got Wentz and Jameis. And I think he's kind of thinking about keeping those, even though keeping 3 quarterbacks maybe isn't the most norm way, but it's almost like a hoarding thing to prevent some other teams that might need to then make a trade.
Yeah.
And I think with some buys, he's got some interesting choices. He either drops one of those quarterbacks and gives one of those teams a chance of getting him, or he ends up maybe having to play a guy that is a buy. I mean, I don't know if you've looked at his squad, but he's got a little bit this week.
No, I haven't looked that closely. And it's interesting to see what happens with Lamar. You know, if he puts up another stinker of a week,
Yeah.
what are you looking at? And that's a tough choice.
Yeah. All right. So listen to this. He's got Jacobs, Montgomery, Cohen, and Tyrell
You
Williams.
think the one he drops is Winston?
Yeah. I mean, he basically drops Winston, who's a pretty solid quarterback, because Deshaun Jackson looks like he's not going to play.
I think you dropped Delaney Walker.
Drop Delaney Walker?
Yeah.
Why?
Really? I'd be on that on a waiver claim.
Yeah, I'd be on that in a second. I have no tight end. He's the 10th tight end in the league. I don't know.
I'd be on that on a waiver claim. I think it has to be Winston, guys.
I think it has to be Winston, but I do think that he may be wondering about that. If he hasn't made that move yet, I wonder if we're gonna get. I don't know. That's a tough call.
I don't know.
I guess it depends on who he's
Brian.
playing Jake. Does he really want to throw away a potential spot like that?
Oh, it'll be interesting to see what happens going
No,
forward.
I think you got to drop someone.
I bet it could be dictated maybe by how good the Patriots D looks tonight.
Yeah. All right. Next matchup.
Yeah.
Angela beating Casey 141 to 135.
Can Angela just be called Christian McCaffrey from now on? Because that's basically what her team is.
47.7 points. Amazing.
What a stud. Tough one for Casey. He doesn't put up a bad score.
It's amazing.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, Rodgers gets a 9. Daniel Jones gets an 11. What an awful quarterback matchup.
I mean, every team except for Rich, Brian, and Rachel had someone put up over 30 points.
That's interesting. If you look at Casey's squad, I think he's a little misleading. He's basically at the 40 from Cooper, and then he did not have anybody else that really performed all that well.
Well, Sanu gave him a good week. He got that touchdown.
Yeah, okay, but like to put up 136 is pretty solid.
Yeah.
A third of that was one guy almost.
And then
some of Cooper's yards there were major garbage points. That team did not look good.
Yeah. And then I mean you both drank the Kool-Aid on the Cowboys last week. And I tried to tell you.
I did. Oh, I did. I absolutely did. I thought their defense was better. I know their offense is pretty solid.
Basically on homerism, though, like the Eagles.
No, I've just watched the Cowboys, Sperano.
Well, regardless, it
Homerism
doesn't seem to matter for fantasy because Dak managed to get his numbers, Cooper got his, and it didn't matter because Christian McCaffrey put up 50 points.
Yeah. Now, I assume Angela is going to try and has Michelle in her lineup.
You're talking right now?
Her roster pulled up in front of you? Yeah.
Yeah, I do have it pulled up here. She does have him in.
Who'd she take out, Hooper or McCoy?
She took out Hilton because he's on a bye. And she had to take out John Brown because he's on a bye too.
Okay.
So she's hit with her receivers a little bit. You know, McCoy, I don't think is looking as sharp now with Williams back. So she's still running Ertz and Hooper. I don't know. DeMarcus Robinson maybe isn't as good as we thought, but she was able to put Jones back in.
Yeah. I mean, any of the Chiefs receivers, you never know what you're going to get. Same with the running backs until Hill comes back.
Exactly. Well, look at Watkins on Haley's team.
Yeah. All right. Next.
Well, Ange gets the win there, and Casey, really, he made that bold claim because he's seeing his points are okay. But that's a big one. That goes to 2-4, and she would have been 2-3. That's a tough loss for Casey. I think he was banking on possibly pulling one out there before he gets some of these stars back. He better hope he starts putting up points because I don't think he's having as much of a chance when you're only 1-4 now.
No, and I mean, yeah, it's going to be tough sledding. I don't agree with his bold prediction, but you never know.
Hey, he's not super far off. I was just looking at it. He's like 30 points behind. That's not that many. So, who's up next?
Let's move on to Scarano getting his first win of the week.
Hey, buddy, congrats.
123 to 113.
Oh, my, thank God.
Now, Juju finally showed up for you, and maybe that.
There's nothing on my team that particularly impresses me.
I think you have to love how Russell Wilson.
Look, this is what I'll say about Juju Smith-Schuster. Russell Wilson has been the best one, and when I drafted my team, he was the one that I wasn't hot on.
Mm-hmm.
Tells you what I know.
Yeah, I mean, he's an MVP candidate.
Gallman going out right at the beginning hurt me. I mean, last week he did have Saquon Barkley numbers. Beyond that, there's nothing really too impressive here.
Yeah, Gallup's good look for you on the bench, and you got Mike Williams on the bench too. So you at least have some opportunities to put people in.
Were you thinking about putting Gallup in at all, Scarano?
I think he's probably going to go in for Diggs at some point. Well, was I or did I? I do become a little bit concerned with the injury.
Were you thinking of putting him in though?
It was his first week back. Packers have good D. I mean,
yeah. But I mean, you have him in right now for Gallman, right?
I should have. Yeah, I have him in right now, but I mean, like Gallman going out right at the beginning wasn't great for this team. I mean, look at him last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's Rich.
He had 27 points.
Rich I can't figure out Rich. I look at his team and I
Mike
think
Evans.
that's that squad.
Yeah,
Mike Evans.
Cook's getting hurt didn't help. Evans putting up the goose egg. And then Scantling, I mean, you would expect a bigger game from him.
Especially with 34 points.
Yeah, especially against Dallas.
Yeah. I don't know. I look at his squad and I think that's not that bad. I mean,
he was targeted through a point a game.
Rich has a high score. I haven't had a high score in I think 3 years.
And interesting about Rich's team, he has 3 tight ends.
And I have none.
3 solid tight ends.
Somebody give me a tight end.
And I'm pulling guys off the waiver wire.
All right.
Just awful. What slim pickings.
Next up, we have the high score of the week that was played. And that was Aaron Jones putting up a 49.2. And I still lost to Joel by 25 points.
That was astounding. She was like, I'm up 70. And I'm watching that second half game, and there's only, the Green Bay game and then the Denver game. And I'm like, well, you're still winning, but this guy's putting up like 20 points a quarter, so.
Yeah, but Kelsey
touchdowns, man.
Williams started out real hot, and then they did nothing in the second half. Same with Bell.
Dude, I gotta say, your
Howard
game is one of the funniest self-trolls I've ever seen.
My what?
Your kicker name is one of the funniest self-trolls I've ever seen.
I'm sure I know.
I'm glad you embraced it, Matt.
Look, I mean, you can't expect the 49. You can't expect you can't even expect the 30-point game from any player.
You were ready to be furious with him after his week 1-6. He's been great.
Yeah. But I mean, Joelle, I mean, I would say she put up a great score, but you know what? This year, maybe top 10. Probably.
No, right? Yeah. But it's just it's coming from all over, and I think that's what she didn't have the 50-point game. She did have 2 35-point games, but she also had the Allen Robinson game. Zeke was pretty good. Cortland Sutton was pretty good. Farbarn was pretty good. Like, it was a pretty balanced attack. The only one that really let her down was the Bears D.
Oh, and Paul Richardson.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't expecting much from him against New England. That was just a tough play.
Yeah. And really,
one of the good things about her team is TJ Sharp coming through. Drafted 189, fifth-ranked receiver.
Number 5 receiver. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I didn't even really know the guy.
Number 5 receiver drafted 189. So, I mean, think about that.
All right. So, I think you probably got another 2 weeks or so, 2-3 weeks of Minshew. But is Foles still the starter?
I don't know.
No. I just hate. I was listening to a program, a sports program. It'll go unnamed, and it does bother me when they're like, "There is no quarterback controversy," and I'm like, "Am I the only one who's like, of course there is?"
Tamala, that's a tough week for you, though, man. I mean, that's a win against most other teams. You would have beat everybody other than Joelle and Rachel and Colin. So you would have beat 8 of the other teams. That's one of those progressive scoring ones, but at least you get your points.
I mean, I have not put up great scores this year.
No, you haven't. So that's why this one's important. But
if we had the progressive scoring, I think every week but one, I would have been in the top half of the league.
Yeah, I mean, what are you looking at that has been the most disappointing for you?
My receivers and quarterback. I mean, I felt pretty good Goff going in and then getting Cam as a backup. And I'm not usually a big backup quarterback guy, but I figured that value. But
yeah, you get a lot of depth, a lot of guys that could eventually emerge, but right now none of them seem to be doing so.
Yeah. So
2-3, buddy. Woo.
You'd like to think that Goff's numbers would increase. He is the only consistent thing on that team.
Yeah. They're just not. They're not playing the same as they were last year. Not even close.
No. What's next?
I think it comes down to their inability to run the ball.
Closest game of the week, which should not have been the closest game of the week. JT, you squeaked by Jake. 127.8 to 122.6.
Tuesday. I mean, if you set up the situation, I'm up by 13 going into Monday night, and I have Ricky Seals-Jones who gets a 0. So if you say 13 and I get nothing out of mine, and he has Baker Mayfield, Odell Beckham Jr., and Robbie Gould, and you say, all right, I'm probably going to lose. 13 is pretty easy, and he ends up with an 11.
Yeah.
And I mean, Gould missed 3 field goals. He hadn't missed like almost all year, and he missed 3 field goals.
Yeah, that is something besides. You are right.
There was more than
beyond just Mayfield.
Yeah, it's more than just Baker. I mean, Baker obviously is the nail in the coffin, but he could have won it in 2 ways. Yeah, and then I made the right call with my quarterback. Right. Kyler 25 over Rivers. I felt good about that. Every other call I made was absolutely atrocious, though.
Yeah. So 53.7 points.
The Will Fuller situation.
Come on, you can understand why I didn't play him, though.
He was one of my favorites in DraftKings this week.
Okay, but Tamala, 9, 8, 10, 5.
Oh, yeah. No one expected him to go 53.
I mean, you expect maybe like a touchdown, but come on.
I mean,
16 targets. Get out of here.
JT, let's be honest. If you did play him, you would have been happy with the 12 or 13.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I took a flyer on Tate instead. I thought he was coming back. Minnesota had a good defense. They'd be doing a lot of dump offs.
Yeah.
Turned out I played the wrong Tate.
That's what I mean. I mean, Jay, I'm just saying, like.
Listen, I thought I was going to lose for sure. and I was kicking myself because I did the old man move of, when you do it on the website, the minute you make a move, it automatically does it. You don't have to hit like save changes. But if you do it on your phone, you have to hit save.
Yeah.
And so I made the move Thursday morning of switching out the Rams for the Vikings, and I never looked at it again. And by the time I woke up on Friday, that game had happened, and the Rams got a 3. I was miserable, and I was like, I hope the Vikings suck. I hope they're awful. And then they got a 14, and I went, oh my gosh, that 11 points is going to be what I lose by. It was such an old man move.
Yeah, well, you're getting up there.
Yeah, well, my score
I've
isn't.
done it before. A lot of times you're doing other stuff, you're distracted.
Yeah, I have no excuse. But it was a very inconsistent week. A couple good games, couple just awful bombs. I need Hunter Henry to come back so bad. I just have no tight end help. But I did get a little bit of joy out of watching Thielen play so well after you were ready to give up on him, Tamala.
Yeah, I mean, look, I thought he was going to have a bounce back game, but I don't trust that offense. We'll see what they do against
trust
the
the
Eagles.
offense.
You can't
I
throw
don't
against the Eagles.
He's not great, but Thielen's a man of targets, and we're a PPR league.
They just don't throw the ball enough. You never know where he's only going to throw the ball 10 times.
Yeah. What do you think about Golden Tate? You nervous?
Yeah, he's right back to my bench. I gave him one week, and that bump's going right back to my bench. He looked awful.
I mean, they just have no one else on that team. I mean, he might be the only healthy body.
Yeah, but he was barely playing. I unfortunately watched a lot of that game, and they were throwing to everybody else. And it was not, I don't know. He didn't drop a bunch of passes. He just didn't get much of anything his way. They don't know how to use him right now. I don't think he has any rapport with Daniel Jones.
Well, that was the problem with him on the Eagles last year too. They brought him in, but they didn't have a plan on how they were going to.
Yeah, Detroit figured out how to use him, and he was great there. And no other team has figured that same plan. But I don't know. It's fine. Listen, I'll take the win. I'm going to need the win because my points are not.
I would say Russell Wilson did to an extent, but
Yeah. Well, whatever. I need my win. I'm happy with that. It's a sneaky one. I don't really deserve it. My points are not great.
yeah.
All right. Moving on to the rankings. All right. 12th place. Rich. Falling back down a little bit.
And got to give it to him after losing to Scarano.
Yeah. Right behind him, even though he got his first win, number 11 is
Rubber match.
Scarano. Actually, less points than Rich. 2 less points.
And followed after Scarano is me.
But I'm on the up and up.
Wow, Tamale, you're next, huh?
Yep.
Casey's ahead of you.
Yep.
You have a lot. I don't remember, but I believe I ranked you ahead of him because you have like 80 more points scored against you than he does, and you're about the same points scored for.
Okay.
So I just want to clarify this, Tamala. With Casey's convoluted idea, you're really going with this?
No.
I'm shocked by that. I really would not have put Casey above you there, but go ahead.
All right. And so ranked 9th is Casey, and we actually both ranked from 9th. Consistency. We're actually the rankings were very similar all across the board. 8th is Jake.
Mm-hmm.
7th is Rachel.
I think that's generous for Jake, by the way, but go ahead.
7th is Rachel. You come in at number 6.
That's right. Rank myself.
No, you actually ranked yourself 5th.
Oh, well, sorry. Okay.
And then Angela comes in at 5th. All right, top 4. Colin, Joel, Brian, and the Michael Thomas, number 1 again.
And, those are 4 of the 5 top scoring teams in the league. The only one who's up there that we didn't have was Angela.
Yeah.
We're the points match. Brian is still blowing most teams away, even after last week not doing as well. He's still up by 40 plus on Michael. That's a lot.
Yes, it is. It will be. I'm very interested to see what happens this week, though.
Just a couple trends. We got Joelle having won 4 in a row now after she lost her first game and then won 4 in a row. And we have Jake, who won his first 2 and then has lost 3 in a row. A couple opposite trends that can't be enjoyable for both of them.
And Scarano's got his 1-game winning streak.
Yeah, and if we're looking at playoffs,
trend.
we're looking at playoffs. Michael's the first seed. Joelle's the second. They have the buys. Brian and Colin come in with a 3-4. Angela takes the 5 seed, and I take the 6 off of points. But it's close. Rachel's right on my heels.
Very close to the rankings.
Yep. So, all right, fellas, anything else?
No, I think that's it.
All right, Jamal, you know what, buddy? We forgot this one. Jamala, school lunch.
You got it, buddy.
Oh, that's a good one. I missed that.
Hey, buddy.
School lunch.
All right. Any hot takes tonight, Scarano?
Yeah, what do you got, Scrano? Anything?
I have a hot take tonight. I don't have a hot take tonight. All I want to say is our 4-1 Bills, if you could just win half your games, you will walk into the playoffs in the AFC right now.
All right. So
come on, guys.
I want to say I have a strong feeling the Bills are going to win their next 2 in a row. 6-1.
Okay.
But I mean, then schedule gets tough.
I genuinely believe in the AFC and a 9-7, and you're in.
Yeah, I mean they have a top 3 defense in the league.
Colin Cowherd, last time on his top 10, did say the number 1 defense in football. I don't care what the stats say.
I think the Patriots will beat them, but they're definitely top 3.
Yeah, I think the Patriots defense right now, if you're looking at like DVOA and stuff, it's the ranked defense of all time. Yeah. It's early, a lot of time left. They haven't played great teams, but that's even
I can see that.
So
yeah,
it'll be interesting. But good luck tonight, fellas, except for Scarano. I hope you lose.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And we'll see you next week.
And what I'll say, guys, give me those names on the suicide pool. No one can take. It's 8:30. No one else can take the Patriots. Sorry, guys.
That's true, but I don't think we got a lot of teams left. We're starting to get to slim pickings.